Hey everybody, it's Mark from Unique Niche. Welcome to episode 4 of the 10 Days of Halloween. Today, we're talking about all the creatures and characters of lore, from Cthulhu to your regular black cats. We're going to talk about them all. We're going to start off with Jack of the Lanterns. For those who don't know, Jack of the Lanterns, or our modern day contemporary Jack-o'-lantern, was a story about Stingy Jack, who was an elderly, miserly person who'd like to play tricks and pull pranks on everybody. What he did, how he got into infamy, was interesting. His story mainly revolves around what he had done with the devil and how he tricked and coerced the devil into doing different things, and how he used these tricks and coercions to get basically eternal life, even though it wasn't the way he wanted it. And we'll start off with the first story, which is how Jack and the devil went to a bar and basically drank and rebel-roused and had fun, but at the end of the day, when time came to pay his bill, he basically, being Stingy Jack, basically had no money, or pretended to have no money, so he coerced the devil to take the shape of a coin to pay for their tab. So after the devil did this, he grabbed the coin, put it in his pocket, and walked out. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but our cat Keela's in here saying hi. So, hey Keela, come here. Come here. Nope, she's going bye-bye. But anyway, as I was saying, Jack tricked the devil into turning into a coin, which, again, as I said, he put in his pocket and threatened not to release it and just keep him in his pocket or use it for something else. But the devil said he would basically make a deal with Jack, and Jack said, "I don't want to deal with you for a whole year. Basically, I want you to leave me alone for a whole year." And the devil complied. So 1 year later, Jack and the devil kind of met up again, and Jack coerced and tricked the devil into going up a tree. And the devil had basically had a hard time getting down. So Jack said, "I will help you get down, but this time, I don't want to deal with you again for 10 years. The devil again complied, but added on a stipulation that he would not take Jack's soul. So, not long after Jack helped the devil down from that tree, he passed away. And due to his reputable nature, he was not welcome in heaven. And then when he went down to hell, the devil would not take him in due to his agreement, but felt pity for him, so he gave him a piece of coal that would constantly burn. Jack took it with him and carved out a turnip and used that as a lantern to see his way through Etheria, or basically through the veil of the void, the spiritual void. And we use this as nowadays we have the modern contemporary as Jack-o'-lantern, where once Irish settlers came into America, they stopped carving turnips because it's hard to carve a turnip and use it as a lantern. But with pumpkins, they're bigger and it's more hollower inside after you scoop out all the seeds and whatnot, and it makes it a lot easier to make that lantern face. So that kind of has become the modern contemporary for that. And that is kind of the tale of Jack-o'-lantern, how we now have Jack-o'-lanterns, or as it was originally called, Jack of the Lantern, which got shortened into O-Lantern, now that as we more commonly call him. Next, I kind of want to talk a little bit about Cthulhu. I'm not going into details about him because he's not technically related to Halloween, but around Halloween time, anymore he can be considered a contemporary member of Halloween, or an honorary figure, because of his horror-like nature and the fact he's basically a squid-like creature with tentacles and all that. But again, like I said, I'm not going to go into detail, just talk about him a little bit, especially since he has a modern contemporary in video gaming, especially in the Elder Scrolls, with the Daedric Prince Hermaeus Mora, which is basically inspired, almost kind of taken almost from H.P. Lovecraft's version of Cthulhu. Now I want to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today, which is witches and warlocks and wizards, whether they be good or evil. I talked about this a little bit in episode 2, because around during the medieval era and the Renaissance era, people were kind of hysteric. There was mass hysteria basically in Europe and in colonial America. Part of what was in America's problem was due to it had a layer of mold on some of its grain, and that caused basically like a hallucinogenic panic. And because of that, 20 people died or 20 women died in the Salem massacres, and 1 man died from being crushed to death by stone. But before even that was happening, this was happening even in medieval times in Europe, where basically if you were poor, or you were not going to church as much, or if you were not part of a certain church, or if you were seen, like as a woman, you were seen helping people, or you were seen educated, you were just pretty naturally thought of as a witch. Which oftentimes is not really true. Most times women who were that intelligent or smart were thus so because they were medicine women or men, because men also did it too. Sometimes you had men in villages, you didn't have regular medicine, so sometimes someone had to kind of take that job up, and because of that they were considered a warlock, which is again not true, because they were just medicine men. They were people trying to help other people, but due to the mass hysteria of the time, they got labeled as such, and rather horrific tortures were placed upon people, such as burning of their skin with coals, or hanging them, or dunking them in water, or forcing them, if someone was convulsing, like having a seizure, if they would have a random bunch of accused women come in, and they would one by one touch that person. The last person touched that person who was convulsing, and that person came out of it. Well, they were the witch because they did something to make them better. So it was, and a lot of times women were burned at the stake, which again was during rather dark and horrific times. Nowadays, this kind of stuff would not happen. But at the times, again, as I mentioned in the second episode, this was during rather dark times in Britain due to the fact that many parts of Europe were fighting the Persian Empire, and a lot of people had PTSD, which is a condition we know now, but at the time we did not know. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when it comes to vampires, especially Vlad Tepes. And one thing, which is basically known to have, are familiars, and familiars are creatures often thought would be demons that take the form of a cat, like this one. Hi, Kilala. Oftentimes more black cats rather than Kilalas, rather striped features. But which is what oftentimes of other creatures such as bats or goats or anything they could find, birds, but they became known as familiars, and which does kind of come into the play of some other creatures of Halloween, which are bats. Bats flocked around sacrificial bonfires during the Druidic times or the Celtic times, and to look for other bugs and to keep warm during this time of year, because this is the time of year where things start getting colder, and this is the time of year where those kind of festivals took place. So they figured, oh, this is a nice place to keep warm, and we can hunt for bugs. So a lot of bats around that time would thought, oh well, something demonic must be this way, it must be evil this way, but it wasn't. It was just natural. Also cats, women who took in cats or had cats and followed them, or as we would call them, cat ladies nowadays. But you know, you have women who had cats with them. Cats were familiars to the witch, and really wasn't the case. It just their cats were just trying to find food. And now we can get into wizards. Wizards, you know, we all know what wizards are. They're magicians or people who know how to do magic, other than white magic or black magic. Oftentimes, wizards are seen as having to deal with black magic, much like warlocks. But they're more powerful than warlocks because they can do more serious magic and spells and incantations. And, you know, wizards, of course, nowadays are more popular in modern contemporaries, such as with the Harry Potter stories, which kind of brought wizarding and magic back into kind of the highlight of pop culture. And I'm trying to think of some other more contemporary creatures or characters. I mean, like I said, I kind of mentioned Cthulhu, because Cthulhu's, really not much of a regular Halloween creature, but he is involved around this time. I mean, other than that, you could always think of like crows. Crows are often considered part of Halloween because they're seen again with witches as familiars. But other than that, there's not really too many more creatures and characters of Halloween, except for where we get into monsters, which is what we're going to start tackling starting next episode. So we're going to start talking about vampires in episode 5, werewolves in episode 6, and episode 7 we're going to talk about mummies. And episode 8 we'll kind of talk more about other creatures, such as Frankenstein's monster and the Invisible Man, and all of them kind of characters. We'll kind of put them all together as one. And this will kind of give you guys an idea what's going to go down in the next few episodes. And then episode 9 and 10, 9 I'm gonna not talk about anything. We're gonna be carving a pumpkin and also kind of getting out the Halloween costumes and stuff, and we're gonna show it off and just kind of have fun just doing that. Then episode 10 will be on Halloween, and we'll be showing some of the candy that we're going to be giving out, and I'll be walking down the streets and just kind of saying hey to everybody and kind of just doing stuff like that, just basically hanging out and having fun. And this is it for this episode. I'm sorry I kind of went on a rant. I apologize for that, but I kind of like to do that, like ranting and going on. That's me. But yeah, as I said, this is it for this episode. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Ring the bell. Tell this to your coworkers. Talk, this amongst your friends and everyone. Let them know. We're doing a good job this month. I especially love all the comments and I got and the likes on Facebook and the views we got for the community showcase, and I want to see that continue. And I hope you guys are having a good day and enjoy this episode, and I'll see you tomorrow, which will be a double episode tomorrow. You will get 5 and 6 basically in one day, because Friday I got to go help out a friend and I'll be out of town. So have a good day, you guys, and take care.